Hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkovic. Today we're going to talk about does it matter what tree stand you use? That's what we want to basically get into today. There's a lot of tree stands on the market, some new amazing ones coming out as well too. I'm very interested in the new style ones that are coming out from XOP. They really have my attention, and there's some great options. But does it matter what stand you use? Is there a better one? Is there a worse one? Does it really make any difference? Are there some features to look at that are going to be important for you? That's what we're going to cover today. Today we have 3 tree stands here that I have used extensively and exclusively for many years, and they're all fantastic. I wouldn't get rid of any one of these 3, and we'll talk about some of the features that they all have that we want in a tree stand, and why I will only buy stands that have these features. And then on the same note, does any of this other stuff matter to you, such as the weight, the platform size, things like that? We're going to break it right down. You might see a little smoke coming up. I have a citronella candle down here because the bugs are coming out pretty good, and Tina told me I'm not allowed to wear bug spray today because we're going out to dinner and a movie. So I got a candle burning down below me for keep the mosquitoes off. So let's take a quick talk about these. Let's first cover lone wolf stands, which is no longer made. They are now Novik stands, and there's some pros and cons to that. But we have 2 different sizes here. We have the Alpha and we have the Assault. In the real world of Noviks now, that would be whatever they call their big one. I don't even know what they call it. I'll probably look it up and put it below. And then they have their Hilo, which is a little smaller than this one here, a little narrower, but very similar in setup to what these are. But you have the new one, it's about the same size, and the Hilo. But what's nice about these particular stands is that they have some features, like all of them, that we're interested in, okay? These 2, you can see by the platform size. Let me put the seats up so that they're not going to be in your way. But you can see platform size. There's a big difference here in platforms between these 2 stands, okay? And there's pros and cons to both of them. Okay, don't assume that this Assault being smaller and lighter is actually the better stand for you. It very well may not be. You might be looking at this Alpha over here and thinking that stuff's going to be too big, too bulky, and too heavy. You have to consider what it is that you're planning on doing. Okay, for example, my wife and my daughter will not hunt out of this stand. They don't want anything to do with this stand. To them, the platform is too small, too scary, not comfortable. They won't be in this stand. They both love this stand, which is why I still have it. Okay, I don't hunt out of this anymore, but I did for a period of about 7 straight years. This was all I used, were these, and I did it before I went to this one, because I liked the extra space. I liked being able to actually step outside of here if I needed to lean around a tree. I could do that, or lean around a tree like that. I could actually step on this back part by stepping over that cable. I had enough room here to be able to step outside of that cable and stand right here, where I did not have that luxury on this Assault. It's too small. But that was a very nice feature for me at the time. There's pros and cons, again, to everything. When I'm looking at a stand, though, you're looking at these 2, you also take into consideration of weight. I think this one's about a 14-pound stand. I could be off by a pound or so. And this one's about 11-pound stand. I could be off by a pound or so. But you're looking at 3 pounds in difference. And you're looking at bigger bulk on your back when you're actually carrying this. This one I still have straps on. This one is brand new out of the box. I only have 2 of these left. They don't make them anymore. So I don't have a straps on this one, but when you put this on your back, we'll just hold it so they're kind of evened out. But when I carry this on my back, you can see how wide that is on my shoulders. You can see the width that you have that's going to stick out here around my body on this stand. And when you put this one on your back the same way, you can see that it's actually smaller and narrower on my back, and it's a lot lighter. But when we do the same thing here, you can see how that's going to fit through the woods. It's going to be a little bit easier to get through the woods. These are things that may or may not matter to you. Today, the hype, all of the hype and everything out there is on lightweight stands, okay? Lightweight, the smaller, the lighter, the better. Is that really the best? Not necessarily. It depends on what you're doing. Me personally, this I thought would be the smallest platform that I would probably ever want to go to. And then we get into this platform here, was the one I came from. But when you look at the size difference of those platforms, they're pretty tremendous in size and space that you have on them. This one is a heck of a lot more comfortable than this one. This one is a lot better in a tree and gives you more room than this one does to shoot. You get more shooting options out of this stand than you do out of the smaller Assault. You can turn around better. You can get out to the edge of the platform. You have more platform length in there that will let you get out longer and farther and shoot behind a tree if you want to. You have this extra space on there. So there's a lot of options there that are things that people have to take into consider that they don't today. When it comes to the weight, who cares? I care a little bit. I do. There's no doubt about it. But you have to take that into consideration like that. You're going to carry a stand into the woods on average for a 10-minute to 20-minute walk. Some people 30 minutes. Then you are going to sit in it for 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours, 10 hours. And then you are going to walk 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, maybe 40 if you're one of the crazy guys, on your way out of the woods with it. Okay, is it more important to be light and carry in and be not as comfortable and not as much shooting option in the woods? Or is it better to carry an extra 3 pounds and a titch more bulk to have all that comfort and shootability out of the stand? Choices you have to make, okay? Now, there are in-between options in there too, and there are other options. The helo is even smaller than this one. The helo cuts off another couple inches here on the sides and narrows it up a little smaller even then. And it saves you 1 more pound. But again, at what cost? You have to weigh those options. The new XOP stands, at what cost? We have to, you have to make these considerations. Everybody now is chasing smaller, lighter, and littler. I mean, it won't be long, in probably another year or two, we'll be standing on platforms the size of this seat. It's all that we're going to be. It'll be like, but it only weighs 1.5 pounds. Is that stuff important to you? You will have to make that determination on your own for yourself. Nobody can make it for you. Now, we have another option, the B stand, okay? This is the one that I've been using for the last 2 years. It's my favorite stand ever made in history, plain and simple. There's no doubt about it. This stand weighs like 4 pounds lighter than even this stand does. Okay, 3 pounds lighter or whatever. This stand weighs nothing, okay? I've done many reviews on this, but it's light, it's little. But on the same note, when you look at these, and you look at the platform sizes of this, and you compare it to the platform size of this, we got a longer platform, okay? It's longer in length than what the Assault is, almost very comparable to the Alpha, so I am gaining this length of the same size platform, basically. When we look at those platform sizes, you kind of put them up next to next, you can see they're about the same length in platform length. So that means from end to end, I'm getting about the same shootability out of it. Now it is much narrower at the back. Okay, I do not have any of that standoff stuff that I was telling you about where I could stand here. There's none of that here. So I do give that up, but I gained the length, which is really nice. I am narrower. You can see how much narrower this stand is in size. So that is a trade-off. Everything is a trade-off. There's nothing comes free. There's no free lunches. When you compare these two, and you look at these two, I should just spin them this way, probably easier. But when you look at these two side by side, you can see that this platform is, look at how much more compact this size stand is on your back. See how much littler this one is than this one in total size overall, but when we even them out, we actually have a longer platform on this one. It's narrower just a smidge, about the size of what a Novix Helo is, but we get less size and longer platform length by quite a bit. So there's a lot of advantages to this one, plus it's actually a lot lighter in weight. This thing is feather light. This is nothing. I can twirl this around, hold it. I mean, this thing is just a dream to carry. There is nothing, like I said, it's super easy. Even if I try doing what I just did with this one, you are going to see that, I mean, that's a lot heavier, okay? There's more mass to this to hold. It's a great stand, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more mass in something like this than there is in this little dream right here. So everything is a trade-off. Everything is a pro and con. What's going to work best for you? Only you will have to decide that by experience and what you're doing. Now, couple of things, recommendations on stands before we get into some of the differences of them and what's there. If you are somebody who is going to be on stand for tremendous amounts of time, long times, okay? And when I say long times, I'm talking, I'm not talking these guys that go out for 2 hours in the evening or 3 hours. I mean, I'm talking 6, 8, 9, 12 hours in the stand. Then you are going to want something with some room on it. This one is a good compromise because it gives me the best of both worlds. This one, this Assault or something bigger size frame like this, is going to work fantastic too because of the fact that you are going to get all of that real estate and space on there. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Something like this is also a fantastic option, but you start getting into these smaller stands that are out there, and I'm not really interested in going any smaller than this. This is, like I said, this has got almost everything. It's got 90% of what I want here is in this. And 95, or actually 100% of everything I want in here is in this. So for me, this one is the one that wins. But like I said, you can't go wrong with any of them. Find what's going to be best for you and what you're hunting. But if you're hunting longer sits, a bigger platform with more room is usually going to be more beneficial. If you're the guy that's going to just go out there and sit for 2 hours and then call it good or something like that, smaller stands are fine for that. You can definitely handle it. Doing an all-day sit on a stand that is going to be smaller than this is not much fun. You have nowhere to stretch your legs out, nowhere to put them out. You end up in weird positions. I've been there. I grew up in the days of hunting out of like the API baby grands and the little bitty wedge locks by Chippewa and all these stuff, and the mini aerospace stands. We used all that back then. The little lock-ons, the Windwalker and the Lems, and they were great stands. There's no doubt about it, but they were an adventure for doing all-day sits on, especially the stands such as the Baby Grand, the API Baby Grand with that fold-out cloth seat. What a nightmare that was on your legs. That was just pure brutal. But we did it. You know, you can get by with it. You have to make the decisions on your own what's best for you. Do you have to spend $650 on a tree stand like this? No. You can get by with a Hilo. You can get by with whatever Novix has. You can get by with whatever XOP has. You can get by with any. There's a Elevation now. There's a bunch of new ones out there. Now, what parts of the stand are going to matter that I will never go without, regardless of any stand? What will I never buy a stand if it doesn't have these components, these things, which every one of these do. So we're going to just pull this one right off the table, and we'll look at these two versions here for that purpose. Now, for my concern here, the things that I want that matter to me, the amount of angle in here, how tight this is, matters tremendously to me. If it is too narrow, okay, if it is more narrow like this, I won't buy it because it's not going to sit on big trees well. You're going to put that tree in there, you're going to put this on a tree, and it's going to rest on these two outer points, and this whole thing's going to just rock back and forth. It's going to drive me crazy. This is about perfect. Both of these are almost probably pretty similar to the same. This one's actually a little more wider open than this is even, and I like this better. But I can fit a small diameter tree in here, a bigger diameter tree in here, a bigger diameter tree in here, and even bigger ones, and it still gets in there, and you can get up, but you're going to have that support. You're way out here in distance across here versus, you know, and this one's not bad either, but if some of these stands are getting too narrow and these points across are too close together, these ones, both the Novix, the original Lone Wolf, the B stand, they fit those bills perfectly. I believe the new XOPs are going to be that way too, because that was the biggest complaint I had on the Gen 1 original XOP stands. This was way too narrow, and I hated it. I straight up hated it. Yeah, like I said, wouldn't hunt out of it. So I like the angles of that matter to me. That is a specialty feature that I am interested in. The next one on there is going to be your bat wing bracket that is on the back, okay? It needs some way right here, this bat wing bracket that we see on here, they call it an antler bracket on the B stand, which is this dude right here. Let's throw that out of the way. There we go. And that would be this bracket and this bracket right here. These two brackets will let me offset that on a tree, okay? Hang it on a tree that is leaning left or right. These will let me do that. I don't have to be right in the middle. I can offset that to these outer teeth and have that angle on, or I can have my stand sitting correctly on angled trees. I've shown this in reviews of these stands, especially this one. I showed a lot of examples of that. But that bat wing bracket and that offset capability for left and right for leaning trees, I will not buy a stand that doesn't have it. It's not going to happen. Won't even be an option. It's not even a consideration. If you do not have that in 2023, which we've had that since the 90s here, if you do not have that now on your stand, I'm not buying it. Plain and simple. I will not. This is such a vital feature for me to have that offset left and right capability, as is the adjustment factor of the seat or the platform leveler. Being able to take this and level that platform out, which they both use the same exact system, and that'll allow me to level out how much this platform is on the tree. Here's your tree. It'll let me adjust that. So if the tree is leaning forward, I can pull that up and still have my platform level. If the tree is leaning back, I don't have to sit like this. I can level that out and have it flat. So I have platform leveling with the leveler here, which is mandatory in my opinion on both of these stands. We have that platform leveler right here. We have the bat wing bracket right here, mandatory on both levels for me. And then we have the seat leveling position, which again, if we put this up and look at it, that is in a high position. I lift this up, I turn this bolt out just with my hand, and now the seat comes down lower. I can put the seat any position I want. If the tree is leaning far back, I can stretch this way out and drop it down even lower so that on that angle tree, I have this correct seat position, and I can drop this all the way down and have that platform level. Same on this one. They both work exactly 100% the same. We have a seat leveler right here, an adjustment screw that will let me level this seat up or down where I want. To me, mandatory. I will not go with a stand that doesn't have that. So those are the features that are most important to me to be able, because they're going to let me hunt any tree I want to, any way I want to. Other than that, the stand you choose doesn't matter if it carries these features. Is it much nicer carrying a lightweight stand? Yes, it is. Carrying it, it's much easier. Hanging it in a tree, it's much easier. But we spend minutes doing that, just minutes, okay? You're paying $650, which I would pay again in a heartbeat. I love this stand. This stand is amazing. I would not hesitate to buy another one. If I ever needed to buy another one, I would buy another one. It is incredible. Is it mandatory? No, not even a little bit. A $200 or whatever they cost Hilo or any of the other ones that are out there that have those features in XOP, it may be a little heavier, something like that. It doesn't matter. Is it still going to hang well? Did I ever complain for the 15 years that I used this particular stand? Did I ever complain about how hard it was to hang? Never once. It's absolutely perfect. It balances well. It's comfortable. It is not as easy to hang or carry as this one is, which is why I have this one, but I would never fault this stand. Okay, I would never take anything away from it. It was the best there was for a long time. It's still amazing today. It's still incredibly priced. It's there's a lot of great features. But don't get caught up in it's got to be the smallest size, the littlest size, the lightest weight one. You never heard me ever complain about carrying this stand in the woods. Okay, I definitely will never complain about carrying this stand in the woods. And my daughter, when she was 9 years old or 10 years old and killed her first deer, she carried this for over a mile in there with sticks on it and everything too. And you know, this stand is twice the weight of this. There's two of these in this, and she carried that without a complaint, not even a sound. Why? Because they're not hard to carry. There is nothing hard about carrying a 12 or 14 pound stand. Is it as easy as carrying a 7 pound? No, but there's nothing hard about it. Find a stand that's going to work for you and what's going to matter most before you buy it. Think about how you're going to be on that platform. What's going to matter to you? The width of the platform, the extra space in the back of the platform, such as we have on that Alpha back here. Now this will also, this one with this narrower background, or narrower, set that there. Set this one here, so we can explain this here for you. But with this narrower platform that we have on here, okay, this narrower space here. See how we have this right here goes to this, how narrow this is, compared to the opposite end of that extreme of this one, okay, where we have all of this extra, try and fit it on this little table, all this extra space here. But when we look at these differences, this one here will fit in between branches to hang like on pine trees and things like that. I can fit this in here and wedge that in there and drop my platform down between those branches so easily. This one not too bad. This one, very hard to do because of all of this space right back here where I don't have that here, and it's less, you know, so you, again, things that you have to take into consideration that you got to think about with what's going to work best for you. You also do not have to have just one stand and use just one stand. Now, I personally am a one stand kind of guy. I want the setups to be the same for me. I also, a factor for me, because I carry my sticks the same way on every stand, which is going to be mounted, as you've seen in many of my videos. I'm going to mount a swim noodle on this platform, put all three of my sticks on there. It is very important to me that the stand is at least open enough to be able to get straps through here, bungee cord straps, and my compression straps of my backpack have to be through here. So for me, any of those wire or those welded mesh platforms, they're out. I won't get them because of the fact that I can't fit buckles through these the holes in the platform. So for me, that's another big factor. I need this open space to be able to fit my straps and to lock these things onto my pack with. So find what matters best to you, find what works for you, but there is no right or wrong tree stand. It doesn't matter if it's big, it doesn't matter if it's small, doesn't matter if it's light, doesn't matter if it's heavy. As long as it is solid for you, it's got the adjustment capabilities we talked about to hang on every kind of tree, and it's comfortable, and it fits in your price range, it's going to be a good stand. Nothing else really matters. So don't get caught up in everything that's out there, and don't think for a second that you need to run out and buy the newest, latest, and greatest because something is better. It's really not. I mean, I would hunt. There's a reason I still have this stand for myself. I have this plus one more, and I won't ever get rid of them because I probably, you know, I don't think I'll buy another one of these. I love it, and I would if I had to, but this one will last me the rest of my life. I won't need to buy another one. And if for some reason I need another stand to use because this one's out in the woods, or for some, I say I break a cable and it's out for a week of hunting season, I will be more than happy to hunt out of this stand all the time. Or if I lend this one to a friend to use to try out, I will never have a problem hunting out of this stand. You can't go wrong with the options that are out there today. Find what's going to be best for you, and then set it up how you want, and get out there and use it to hunt with. Like I said, so many, we've never been in a time of better opportunities for tree stands. Just in my opinion, make sure they have those functions and that adjustability we were talking about. A nice wide V on the back to match and get into those places. You want adjustability in your leveler for the platform. You want a leveler for the seat. And you want an offset bracket for the, you know, for the angle trees. If it's got those and it's comfortable, more power to you. You can't ask for anything more. For me and my money, I won't buy another stand to replace this, but even the Hilo. Hilo is a very nice stand. I do not believe it's as good as this because I think I would rather have the 1 pound and the extra width. I would take the extra pound of weight to have the extra width on this stand. That's why I will not get rid of these. In my opinion, they were gold as they were, as good as they could get. This one is a game changer. The beef stand is an absolute awesome stand. You got the Lone Wolf custom gear with the 1.0, the 0.5, all the custom options. Those are fantastic, especially how they'll let you adjust seat posts. I mean, you cannot go wrong with all the options out there today. Take a look at them, dive in, see what's going to matter most to you, but I wouldn't let the weight be quite a concern. Because it's really not going to matter that much, and I would not let you know, I would not be caught up in the smallness of the platform. Find the platform that's going to fit for you, because remember, you are going to hunt out of it for many hours. You are going to carry it on average, let's just call it 15 minutes in, 15 minutes out, maybe even 25 or whatever. 15 minutes to a half hour in, 15 to a minute, 30 minutes on the way out, but you are going to sit in it for hours and hours on end. Let the comfort factor of the stand win over the portability of it, in my opinion, and within reason. The beauty today, we have stands that check every single box, okay? And again, Lone Wolf Custom Gear is another brand that does that as well too, and I think that new XOP will also. But the Mac Daddy, in my opinion, ultra light in weight, good long platform that gives me a lot of shootability, easy to hang, all the functions, all the capabilities, narrow to carry in, win-win on every level. So for me, that's why this is my #1 go-to stand. I don't need to go try what else is out there. They're not going to be that big of a difference. This works perfect for me. So find what works best for you. Thanks for watching.